So, I've been talking a lot about different things I'm excited for in Assassin's Creed Ragnarok, and it's only fair and reasonable to talk about a few of the things that worry me. To be clear, I have faith in Ubisoft Montreal 3, the Origins team, the Black Flag team, and I'm sure this is going to be a good game. But of course, this video is going to bring up some negative points, and it is healthy to consider some potential flaws of the game rather than just accepting it's going to be perfect, and these are things that worry me a bit, and if they don't worry you, then that's fine, no worries from me. Anyway though, let's just get right into the list. Alright, so 5 is by far the most minor, but it's definitely a little concern I have, that being a forced gimmick. By this I mean a gameplay feature that makes the game unique, but just doesn't fit the game very well. In Syndicate we had the rope launcher, in Origins we had Senu, who I actually didn't mind too much, but then Odyssey reused that with Icaros. I'm not sure if it counts as a gimmick when it's a game that's effectively built on gimmicks, so that's okay. I just find that on the whole it makes each game less enjoyable and feels far more out of place when these are featured and as if the devs are trying too hard to make their game stand out. In the past, Montreal 3 gave us Senu and Naval, which could both be considered gimmicks, but both of these fit the games they are in my opinion, so they weren't really that forced. A good example of one that wasn't bad would be the Brotherhood recruitment system in Brotherhood, if you could count it as that. Honestly, it isn't that big of a worry for me, as it is Ubisoft Montreal 3, but I needed a number 5, and this was just one of those things that came to mind. Now my next concern for the game is a far bigger one, being potential pacing issues. By this I don't mean narratively, but in terms of the game's progression, which can actually break that narrative up. Naturally, with the series being an RPG now, it's necessary to have side quests and side activities play their part, and that's fine when the side content is good and the leveling is appropriately paced. However, in Odyssey we saw the complete opposite. Whether you enjoy the side content in the game or not, it's undeniable you had to go through a lot of it to get to the next main story mission, which wasn't helped by the XP you got for these being minimal, which of course was to make you buy microtransactions, but we'll get onto that in a bit. I really hope the complaints about this in Odyssey were heard and that Ubisoft decided to let the progression be far more natural now. It was annoying having to slog through literal hours at times of side content just to be able to progress onto the next main memory, and it really just hurt the fluidity of the narrative, which you could only then properly enjoy on a New Game Plus playthrough. And by that point, hardly anyone's going to want to experience the story properly, because after that disjointed mess, who's really going to want it? Alright, so the third concern on this list kind of links in with that last one, and that's the side missions. Side missions in Assassin's Creed have always been quite hit or miss, if we're being honest. Even in Origins there were a good few weak ones, and some of these were ones that you'll have had to play to progress through the main story. And while some of them are actually quite good, I think most of them need to be good to justify being an RPG. Having better side missions is something I'd want anyway, but considering these are missions that we need to do to progress, it'd be really nice if they were consistently good. It was always nice in Origins when they connected back to the main narrative, or even had interesting narratives of their own, but oftentimes it'd just be going somewhere and stealing something and or killing someone, which was a big part of the side activities too, and side activities and side missions should never feel too similar. You should never feel like a mission you should go out to do that is structured is the same as what you'll do just in free roam. I hope we only need to do a few side missions to get to the next level, like a maximum of 4 or so, otherwise the game is just going to feel very disjointed and just the fluidity of the narrative is just going to dissipate. At the very least, I just hope the quality of these has a decent batting average. Now, one of my biggest worries about the game from day one, and it worries me about the series just in its future as well, is microtransactions. Microtransactions simply shouldn't be in a single player game at all. Whether they're pushed on you or not, I just think it's a bit repulsive for companies to ask for money from a single player game in return for a microcurrency. DLC is fine, but then leaving things out of the season pass and making them purchasable via a microcurrency just genuinely angers me, more than poor narrative or any of that stuff to do with the actual game and its, just its development. Odyssey was a step further, where the game was literally slowed down to make you buy XP boosters, and the game was just hindered to make more money. And that's not on Ubisoft Quebec. I've said a lot negative about Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but that's not those guys' fault. it's the businessmen of Ubisoft, and it's something that Ubisoft Montreal 3 aren't going to be immune to either. And I hope with like the light controversy about Odyssey's microtransactions, hopefully this game, it won't be spared, but hopefully it gets a better deal than what the game got last time, because it's something that's not just like to the side you can ignore like in say Origins or Syndicate, but it affects the game itself at this point, and I really hope that doesn't carry over to Ragnarok. Now, perhaps my biggest concern for every Assassin's Creed game for the last, 6 or so years has been the modern day. I don't think the modern day has truly been good since Revelations, and that really should change. It feels like something that's just been kept in the series because of how many people love it and how much outcry there would be if it were removed, but it's there out of necessity rather than passion now, and it's suffered a lot because of that, which has made the people who didn't like it dislike it even more, and just angered the fans who liked it in the first place. And most people who get into the series now, or have been for the last good few years, haven't liked it, which is a shame because it could do so much more. And I'm saying that as someone who loves Origins and Black Flag, that the modern days just haven't been good, even if the rest of the games are. And it's at a point where for so long it's bogged the game down when it could have made it better, and I hope Assassin's Creed Ragnarok does the latter. Anyway though guys, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you share my concerns, if you have a few more you want to add, or if you disagree with some on the list, I'd really like to know. Comment down below and just share your thoughts, and I'll be sure to read them and give you a response. Anyway though guys, that has been it for today. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.